Hey everybody, I'm here to do a movie review on the film 9, starring Daniel Day-Lewis, Maureen Cotillard, Penelope Cruz, Nicole Kidman, Judy Dench, Kate Hudson, Sophia Loren, Fergie. The list goes on. This movie was directed by Rob Marshall, who also did Chicago, which won Best Picture in 2002. My first impression of this movie, the first thing I want to say is that it was a musical, obviously, but it wasn't a musical like what I'm used to seeing. There was no difference between the songs. Granted, there's ballads and there was fast songs, and there was differences in the musical part of the songs, but not in the feel of the songs, and that's why I had a big problem with that. I feel like if you're going to write a musical and you're going to have somewhere between 7 and 12 songs in it, I couldn't tell you the real number, you have to differentiate what you're using the songs for. It seems like they used almost every single song to beef up the character of Guido Contini, who is Daniel Day-Lewis's Guido Contini. So they used all the songs to beef up his character, or make his character have another dimension. And through that, it didn't really get anything done with the plot, so to speak. I felt like there really wasn't. I mean, the plot of the movie was he's having trouble getting his next movie going. He's a struggling former super director, I guess you could say. He kind of like a guy who's in a slump, so to speak, but he does have his classics. People keep reminding him that he has his classics, but his last two weren't so good. So he keeps, all these women keep getting into his life in some way or another. Not like women who he sleeps with necessarily, which is kind of what I got the drift of that through seeing some of the trailers for it and stuff. I assume that it wasn't, but it kind of like that's what they made me believe through the trailers. So there's women in his life, and that's kind of the opening number, which I really like. I like the opening number. It's more of a dance number than a singing number. It kind of just introduced all the women, not through their character, just introduced them, like showed them basically. And I think that was. I mean, I through that plot, it doesn't sound interesting, and it really wasn't. It wasn't an interesting movie, really. I do think that the costumes were fantastic, albeit maybe not for this period. It was supposed to be a 1965 movie, and they went back a little bit sometimes. A couple of the scenes seemed like some of the stuff they were wearing was a little too dated. Not dated like old, but it's too new. It seemed too new. Specifically, the scene that Kate Hudson was in, I kind of felt like that was a little bit later. The stuff that she was wearing kind of seemed like it came from later. I'm not a fashion guy. I don't know. That's what I got the feeling of that. Also, they're in Italy, and his car, they drove on the left side, like they were all on the left side. I didn't know that. That was interesting to me, I guess. What else can I talk about this movie that you wouldn't already know or have a feeling of knowing? I guess I'll go into the performances. I felt like Judy Dench gave a good performance. It's Judy Dench. I don't need to tell you that. Sophia Loren was in the movie. She was Guido Contini, a.k.a. Daniel Day-Lewis's mother. She had a small part. Fergie played... You just got to see it to see what kind of part Fergie played. Her song was very good. I think my personal favorite song was a number actually done by Kate Hudson. I think that was the funnest song to listen to. And not due to the fact that, I mean, it was supposed to be a fun song to listen to, but I felt like that was the one that I would have kept, as far as building his character, the songs, because they all kind of built his character. I think that was the most important one. Kate Hudson played a writer for Vogue magazine that came from New Jersey. She was coming over to try to talk to him about his new movie and his style and all that kind of stuff. And she revealed that she knew a lot about him and she liked him and stuff. So I think that was the funnest song for me. Kate Hudson's voice is pretty good. Nobody blew me away at all. I was not blown away but once. I prefer Glee. Every single song in Glee is better than almost every single song in this movie. just based on voice talent. Dancing, it's dancing. I mean, they show fucking people doing dancing on TV now, like it's nothing nothing new when it comes to dancing. So I wasn't necessarily impressed there. Let's get back into the performances. Nicole Kidman played Daniel Day-Lewis's muse, so to speak, his starring lady in a lot of his movies, or almost all of his movies, I guess, most of his movies. She wasn't in it much. Her character was kind of, I didn't like her character. I thought she acted well, obviously. Cool. Penelope Cruz, she played Daniel Day-Lewis's lover. Her song was also very fun, I guess you could say. I think she did a pretty good job for what she had to do. I don't think she was the right pick for that, for her. I mean, you'll probably think differently, but I just think that they could have went a different direction with that character. And Maureen Cotillard was his wife, and she probably gives the best performance in the movie. Granted, she was written for the best, I think. She knows everything that he's doing, so and she still has to live with him and all these kind of things. Not live with him, but live with it. Overall, I think this movie was fine. I don't think it was. It's definitely not Chicago. It's definitely not going to do anything. It's not going to spark a love for musicals again, like kind of what Chicago did. I do think it was good. I don't think it was great. So what kind of a rating do you give that kind of movie? Personally, I give it a 6 out of 10. The 6 really leaning towards how good the costumes were for the most part, the settings, and the overall enjoyment of the songs. Like I said, they weren't powerful through voice and how great the singing was, but they were fun songs to listen to for the most part. So I give this movie a 6 out of 10. Let me know what you guys think, and take it easy.
Messenger wrote in a Cyprus citizen. He said the land merchant was buying had little value in of itself, but if it became accessible by road, it would be a prime location for, say, a retail park. Conceived with concern for your business and potential disloyalty from fickle customers, you yourself expressed a wish to behave. You feel the competition in cold blood, thinking the murders as accidents. I used a vehicle removal truck to stage the blower draper death and incinerated an old man in his own house, covering the tracks of a judicial application of making him abuse. However, there was a loose end. Tim Messenger was flattered before he could share with me what he told Leslie Tiller that very afternoon, the true value of her land. Upon discovering she was about to sell up to the developers, he brutally murdered her with her own shears. They did you escape utilizing your impressive skills as a fun runner. Very entertaining. Now, despite my comments about the